Hi again, everyone. This video is sponsored by contribution from Kelly, and here's her story. Hi, Ollie. Send a small donation to you, all I can afford right now. I'm working a part-time crappy job trying to get on my feet again. Thank you for all your narcissistic abuse videos. I didn't think there was a name for this abuse until I watched your channel. Thinking that I was the only one that experienced this and felt alone. There are a lot of us out there. I remember watching an older one you had from your family's Thanksgiving dinner. I started to cry because it was just like my family. It really hit home for me. I am the scapegoat in my family, and my sister is the golden child. I was brought up in a military family, and we moved a lot. I made friendships along the way. I was very ashamed of my family dynamics, and I was ostracized by them. I was raised by my grandparents until I was 6. Then my mom married a narc. I never bonded with them. I would have been better off staying with my grandparents. I married twice and divorced twice. The last one was a borderline narcissist diagnosed by the military. Oof. If he was diagnosed borderline by the military, look out. He left the key on the counter and left, and I never saw him again. Lucky me. Then I met another guy. I was having a hard time, and he helped me. He helped me move out of my place, and I was able to get a really good job in banking. I really love my job. He told me he was with someone, but they were just roommates, and he wanted to get out. We began seeing each other, and he love bombed me with gifts, flowers, compliments, dinners, and sex. We started dating, and we would share everything together. We took trips and did some traveling. He was a military officer, and he seemed together. When he had an assignment and he had to travel, he would bring me. We would go to San Diego and Washington, D.C. when he was on business. I felt like Cinderella in a fairy tale. We had a place together with furniture and held a key to the place. He would mention his sister a lot. I met her. I knew right away she didn't like me. She wouldn't come into my apartment because there were 2 cats in there. She said she hated cats. I asked my roommate at the time what he thought of her. He said, "That bitch is crazy." I was nice and cordial to her and passed it off. I took a trip to Chicago for a couple days to stay in a $300 a night place. It had a pool in the room. I got to the airport and he was 30 minutes late picking me up. He brought his sister along with him. I got in the vehicle and the narc was driving. His sister tried to jump out of the car when the car was going. I hardly said anything on the ride. I was tired from the plane trip. And she tried to jump out. He called her husband and took her home. Along the relationship, he would tell me she told him to dump me and get rid of me. The times he would spend would be less and less. He would triangulate me with his sister. Then it was with his son and his exes. Then he started seeing this therapist. He started telling me this therapist told him not to see me. Come on. And if he saw me, he would not take him as a patient. Oh, that is the lie. That is, listen, whenever the narcissist says their therapist told them there would be some kind of penalty, that they would throw them out, oh, God. My mother used to say, because we used to say we wanted to talk to the therapist because she was the first one going there. We want to talk to the therapist, and she would say that Maureen said if I try to bring you in, she'll kick me out, and it was a lie. It was always a lie. While he had his sessions with this therapist, he would text me and say things like I was someone else. The narcissist was recruiting this Dr. Weissman by proxy. When my mother died, I got the silent treatment from the narcissist. Then came the devaluing stage, screwing with me, gaslighting, humiliation, and degrading. I had enough and reported him to NCIS. Didn't hear anything back from them, or he left the service. I called Dr. Weissman and left a voicemail and told him about the abuse by proxy. Told about the abuse by proxy him and the narc did. I had discovered this therapist is also a narcissist. I do believe he has done this to others. Next thing I knew, I had the police at my door. And the next day, a PO from the narcissist, because I opened my mouth about everything. Also on this order was his sister flying monkey nut job contacting the Chicago Police Department, he claims, like I was the perpetrator criminal. I live in another state hundreds of miles away. It's a mindfuck. The narcissist tries to create another reality of you that is untrue. All the bosses at work looked at me strange, and I was laid off from work. I contacted people I thought were my friends to get no response to calls or texts. Just to say hello, nothing more. Then my phone was being tapped, a mailbox broken into, truck broken into. I would leave my place and come back, and it seemed someone had entered. I looked for a job and couldn't find anything. I got the feeling as if I was blacklisted. Then it went from my family not speaking, then older kids living out of state joined a group of targeted individuals. Then my kids living out of state. I joined a group of targeted individuals. I met some friends in the group. Special mention to H.G. Wells. That makes videos, and you made a video you narrated about a narcissist. I felt so isolated in silence. I cried when I watched it because I could relate. I have CPTSD, and it affects my whole life from this. I filed a complaint with the health professionals of Virginia against Weissman. They sent me a letter stating insufficient evidence and saying not to say the abuse didn't happen to me. And saying not to say the abuse didn't happen to me. It was out of their scope. There is no justice for victims, and the narcissist walks away with it. Narcissists and psychopaths are very dangerous and will stop at nothing to destroy. It's like they get a high over it, leaving you feeling worthless and less than nothing in silence. Kelly. Yeah, they do. They do. You know, I think what you need to focus on here, Kelly, I think it's odd, and I have a lot of military people who subscribe to me and contribute. Narcissism and the military go hand in hand. They just do, especially officers. And I don't find it funny. I find, that it should be an aha moment. You grew up in a military family and you keep going with these military guys. Okay, it's like a military narcissistic abuse you're familiar with, you're attracted to, that you really need to look into that and change. Because I tell people, you need to do the opposite of what you've been doing. So if you're constantly with these military guys, your problem is you're no good around. Not all military guys are narcissists, but you have a problem because you're susceptible to ones that are in the military. And what happened to you here is a doctor treating someone in the military, probably with military connections, or a military doctor protecting their own. Protecting their own. Okay, and what the ethics board said is, yeah, it's fucked up, but it's really not provable. But that didn't mean it doesn't happen. So don't take that as anything. The POs, the threats, that's to be expected from them. Anybody who's going to cut you off because of them, they weren't really there to begin with. So what you need to do now, anybody who's cut you off, they've done you a favor. You're not watching these videos to try to convince them of something. You're watching them so you can fix your future. What you need to focus on is your road ahead, not what's behind you. Because what's behind you has already been broken. And even if you could glue it back together, it's still never going to be the same. It's never going to be the same. Okay? You're attracted to people who like to use triangulation, manipulation. Okay? He's got some weird relationship with the sister where the sister's jealous of you. You don't need it. You don't need it. Move on. I think you have. So, I hope that helps. Thank you so much for your contribution and your story. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, or you'd like to set up a Skype, private video, or private phone call, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. If you're still unclear, wait for the final video link to pop up on this video, and that will tell you how to do everything. Also remember to like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Also click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. This is Ollie Matthews. Thanks for watching. See you all again soon.